Let's talk about haters. You ever hear people talk about chosen ones and haters? I'm going to talk to you about haters. Haters are people that see someone else doing well and think that they want that too, but they don't want to put in the actual work, the effort, the learning. To be able to master anything, you have to fail. You have to acknowledge your own failure so that you can then improve yourself and continue to move forward, right? These are people that expect somehow to fail upward without trying. So if your job involves pulling tips, someone sees you pulling tips, decides that they think those tips should be yours. And if they can't get their hands on those tips, at the very least, they should stop you from getting them. Because that'll make them feel somehow they think better, even though it really won't. You can tell when a person is on the verge of something like this. You can see the darkness, the furrow in a brow. You can see this little sneer going on in the side glances that you're not supposed to see, but you do. And God forbid you have a history of any kind of other success to be jealous of, because that's just fuel for the fire. Why can't I have that? Well, I mean, you got to go out and do it. You got to carpe that diem. Just because right now I'm not out there seizing every day to its absolute 1,000% maximum does not mean that in the past I haven't. At this time, I'm taking it a little easy. I go outside and work my ass off, and I throw down when it comes to my job, but going out and doing music, trying to be any kind of popular local celebrity or anything like that, not interested, not into it. Had a coworker found out that I was in a band back in the day, wanted to hear it, and I said, well, here, I'll go hook it up to the thing, and we'll listen. So we're listening, right? And studio quality home recording, we did it right at the verge, right before it became truly commercially affordable for just about anyone to record and produce quality music or unquality music, depending on what they would choose to do, in their home. We got it just before it. We were bleeding edge at that point with what we were able to do. It sounds amazing. I'm very proud of it. The dude listening to it liked it. But I was also aware that in the background there was somebody I've been having some other issues with of the hater variety. And back on the other side of the wall, waiting around the corner kind of thing. Sneers and side glance. Happens to be somebody in a position to try and power trip on me. Explosive negative reaction when called out. Which is why I didn't call out directly. I went to the owner of the company and said, hey, so you need to make a scheduling change. Here's my issue. And I get a little bit back and forth with the owner of the company, and I had talked to one of the other managers, and I have good relations with the other management. Don't really have issues. Whinge and groan if I got to take a run I don't like, but I still take the run. But the problem is if the person that's in charge is specifically sending runs in a certain order, it's a problem. Brought nothing but personal attacks. And then after I responded, started trying to talk about things at work, which don't actually affect my bottom line. Because on any other day, on any other circumstance, with anybody else calling shots, as long as there are orders, I'm doing all right. I can always feel like I'm doing better, but I'm not going to complain when the rates get to a certain amount per hour. And then there's this one night of the week. It's really a problem. And this person almost had me getting pissed off at somebody who was just the recipient of the screwing. I was being screwed, this person was getting the better deal, and that was nipped in the bud before anything negative came of it. Haters want to pop your balloon. Whatever is got you riding high, they want to knock you off of it. They wouldn't know the first thing about what to do with what they've knocked you off of, thinking they can get on top. It don't work like that. When your job is pizza delivery, for example, many times there's pretty much going to be a tip. But what amount that tip is depends on the skill of the driver, how well the food is made, how quickly you got there, things that can be changed or sandbagged or whatever too. But as far as I'm aware, there's never been complaints about me in any capacity. Customers calling, complaining, none of it. And I don't think I'm particularly having issues with coworkers other than, I got the one guy that I definitely can't trust, and I got this new hater on my back. And everybody else I'm not really having any kind of issues with. But this hater wants me to try and believe, convince me that it's all in my imagination, and I am the problem. And it's like, come in and do my job, and any other given day of the week, nobody seems to have a fucking issue with me. But this one night a week, it's always something. Accuse me of shit that I ain't doing. Accuse me of stuff that I'm watching out for other people doing. Now, if somebody accuses you of doing something and you're not doing it, it's at least a 50% chance that person is doing something themselves and is projecting. That's how that works. This is the goofy part, is that these type of people are not original characters. They are just mindless, inane repetitions of the same basic, shallow, I want this thing. It should be mine. Why can't I? Okay, well, guess what, dude? Whatever issues or things in your life that have made it difficult and that you feel like you deserve better or more, I've got at least as many in my life, if not more. I'm also twice as old, so I might have twice as many, but I mean, Haters think that they deserve what you work for. That's all there is to it. You put in the work, you have something that you've earned, they feel that they deserve it. And they will either try and screw you around so that they can somehow get it, or just make it so that you can't get it. Because at least then that way someone else is miserable too, because that always makes everything better. I don't like having a feeling of all shall suffer as I have suffered, but when I have an issue, things need corrected, nothing gets done about it, and the shit just repeats and repeats and repeats, and people are obviously the problem throughout all of this. Even now, even with all of that, there are people I would still like to see prosper, people I would like to see succeed. And if it was still possible for me to succeed while others also prosper, because that's been my mentality. I'm not one of those, it's not enough that I succeed, others must also fail, right? I don't go for that. I go for it's not enough that I succeed, others must also prosper. It's okay for more than one person to do okay, right? So it's the same thing anytime anybody starts into any kind of false allegation or accusation or anything of whatsoever against me. Typically, it's some kind of instability or issue on their part. Something is not right with their life, and they're taking it out on other people. For some reason, someone like me seems to just be they think I'm an easy target. Like I said, it's not particularly original people, certainly not intelligent in the least bit. They think they're clever. They think they're smart. They think they're the first one that ever came up with this idea to hose somebody and lie about it and accuse them of the stuff that you're doing. But obviously doesn't understand, does not realize the amount of bullshit filtering I have had to do over the years to arrive at the point where I'm like, yeah, I can tell what I'm getting fucked with, thanks. And all the things that I am bothering and looking out for are things I've had to learn how to deal with and defend against when someone is trying to play some bullshit. So it's not like I'm just that guy's crazy, so it'll be easy to fuck with him. Only a stupid person would think someone like me is actually insane. I am extremely rational. That's the whole thing, is that we even get to the point where maybe 5-10 minutes after having a conversation where I demonstrate my intellect, immediately after that an assumption is made that because this dimwit is a fucking dimwit, I must therefore also be a dimwit. But I'm not. And I'm not a hater. I'm okay with seeing other people, even dude that I can't fucking trust anymore. If he makes money, that's fine, as long as I'm making money too. As long as it is not somebody else's money is made, particularly at my expense. It would be better if it wasn't made at anybody's expense like that. But when it comes down to my bottom line and someone saying, well, hey, we're going to make it, nah, I don't think so. If they can do well and I can do well, great. But I'm not going to do unwell specifically just so that someone else can do well, because I deserve to do well and work for it as much as anybody else. It's a chance thing, right? But when you have one day a week, one same person is the common factor, and it just keeps being a thing, the pattern becomes obvious. And especially when in any other circumstance with anybody else that's a different person in a similar position, the outcomes are not like that. It's pretty obvious. Hopefully it gets taken care of. I would really, really prefer not to have to take care of it myself.